Good morning. I'll call the meeting of the Board of Water and Wastewater Commissioners to order at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, at Chatham Road. We have Commissioner Thompson and Young here. Commissioner Underwood is going to be just a few minutes late. Commissioner Goff is ill today and won't be able to make it, and I am Noreen Donahue, the chair, so we have a quorum. So, with that said, we have no public for public comment, so we'll move on to minutes.
Madam Chairman, I move we adopt the minutes of November 5th, 7th, 18th, 20th, and the 16th of December.
I'll second.
And as discussion, I will thank Tracy, because that now means that our minutes are caught up completely to the minute. Our minutes are caught up to the minute.
Beautiful.
So that was a fabulous job by Tracy to get all those things in there. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and I'm an aye, so 3-0. Next item is abatements. So the first one, and Wellesley is off today, so we will have to muddle through on our own, gentlemen.
Okay.
The first one is Shore Road. It appears to be for a late fee for a woman who is ill. I did note in her record that she had received a credit. I wonder if that's Judith.
That is her.
Excuse me, folks.
Hello?
I'm going to pause the meeting for 1 second until we figure this out.
Hello?
Hello?
Can't tell if
Nobody
you
there.
picked up or not. What the heck?
Odd one.
This isn't working correctly.
I'm going to buy her a clock for Christmas. Okay,
I can't get it to go.
yeah, let me, God love her.
So, are we paused still?
You want paused for a minute, I'm trying to figure out.
Can we still discuss or not?
Give me a minute, would you just... All right, but were you just trying to call in? Somebody was trying to call in? Okay. So you're coming here physically? No, just tell me. We just want to know what's going on. Right, yeah. We just paused the meeting. So you're coming here physically? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Judith. That was her calling in, but she's coming here physically, so. All right, sorry, Bob, go ahead.
So this woman, we had a late fee waived in '22.
Correct.
Do we have a number of late fees we cut off that? Or you get one free?
Right, Tracy?
Yes, one free that we're allowed to do internally, and then anything beyond that, they would come to you for request.
She doesn't, other than being unable to write or type on a computer, she should due to illness. So, do we take illness into account? Has that been done?
Well, I mean, we can, as Tracy said, the staff has the, the thing where they automatically, in certain circumstances, can waive one.
Right.
And, then after that, it comes to us. One thing that's a little strange that I'll try to remember to tell Wesley and another time is I did notice that her usage for this period, not her late period, is also a little bit high. It seems, 6,000 gallons a lot for somebody who's ill, and I think the building's empty, but, it's kind of a separate matter.
So we don't have a,
No.
I like to be listen as much as we can. If there's truly an illness, and she's elderly or something, I'm not necessarily opposed to that sort of abatement. She has had one in the past.
Yeah, but still, looks like she's done pretty good overall.
Yeah, I agree, I think that's,
All right, and we're up to date, currently,
yeah, has been, despite being in and out.
no point.
So her balances, these are her balances, right? This is, yeah, $25.
Those are real old, that's a problem with the computer system. You have to, the only way they can get those comments is by giving you that, so you always have to look at the dates.
Okay, so $25 is quite a bit, so, sometimes half to a third of what her bill is.
Right.
I would vote that she gets this $25.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we adopt this abatement for $25.
I'll second, even though she lives on Shore Road.
So, we have a motion and a second to approve the abatement request for $25. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so 3-0. So that one is approved. Next abatement is for 214 Pleasant Bay Road. Now, this one, from my notes, might need a little backup explanation from you on this one, Jason. It looks like there's a garage with a meter in the pit. Somehow, I'm just summarizing what I read from these reports in advance, so you'll know. It looks like, going from the E-Coda report, that the leak or the usage started on December 2nd, which the resident reported to Wellesley was also the last day that her plumber was there. And apparently then the resident found the pit full of water, and at some point in the notes it said it looks like a valve was left open. I mean, we're assuming by the plumber. Apparently, by the records, our staff has not been out there for several years, but the sewer people have been in the area, and the resident claimed that they saw blue flags all around the pit area, so I don't know what that's about either. So,
The
So
blue
this-
flags would be if they were out there locating it.
Right.
the sewer?
No, the water, the pit.
Who was out there?
Well, we could have been out there locating it with the blue flags, so when sewer comes through, they know that this is where the pit is.
Oh,
So that's where the blue flags would be.
So what's the minor backflow and a continuous leak? Is that discovered by her plumber or us? $12,300 to
Yeah.
$1,926.
Wellesley would have picked that up on a report.
Yeah, Wellesley would have picked that up on a report. So a minor leak going through the meter. So that was when we did a report on the meter.
the abatement request
Is
is,
it on our side or on hers?
On theirs. If it went through the meter, it would be on theirs.
the abatement request is for $57.90. The total amount of the bill was $122.90. So luckily, whoever found the situation found it pretty quickly. Hi, Judith.
Do we know
For the
who found
public, Judith has just joined us.
Do we know who found this leak?
Says
Only from reading these records.
I mean, clearly, they caught that there was overuse.
Looks like January 12th, she says her plumber found the plumbing valve on and dripping. She thought she had turned the water on after, she thought we had turned the water on after he turned it off. We told her that we had not been there since 2023.
So we had not been out there.
So it sounds like problems on the resident side with their plumber. possibly something that happened on 12/2 when he winterized it or did whatever.
And we data logged it, and there was a continuous leak from 12/3 to 1/9/26.
And the work was done by the plumber during that time?
That's what it's seen, that's what this is
See,
saying.
they
The
don't-
resident reported 12/2 for the
But they
day
don't
before
provide any
New Year's.
backup on the
Right.
plumber's
Mhm.
report. I don't know.
I
It'd be
mean-
nice to have the plumber say what he did or found and get an expert opinion when we're just, are we just supposed to waive this?
Well, she's saying that she thought that we had turned the water on after the plumber had turned it off. But the plumber, I think, turned it off, but it was leaking in there. She thought we came out there and turned it on, and we didn't. So it seems to
Right.
be on there.
I mean, I'm more inclined to think if it's a problem on the resident side, and a possible backflow, then it's, it certainly could be a plumbing issue, but our personnel wasn't there, and I would suggest a motion to deny.
So moved.
Thank you, Ellen.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Your commissioner,
Well, just one second, we have a motion, do we have a second?
I have a question after her question.
Well, discussion usually comes after the motion and the second, so do we have a second?
Not for me. I have a question.
All right,
Not yet.
all right, I will second the motion for discussion, then I'll
Okay.
second Alan's motion. So, discussion, Judith.
Thank you. In there, they talk about a part of sewer construction. I'm just asking, is this residence, would there have been any related activity from us at all?
No, I think
Not the
they,
water department, but the wastewater stuff?
no, they would not, they cannot touch the water.
Okay, I'm just asking because it's written in there.
There were flags around them, basically the meter pit as to locate for sewer.
I'd be interested in okaying it if the plumber if it could be delayed to the next meeting and the plumber comments on what the issue is.
The problem I have with that is I'm gonna anticipate that the plumber's gonna come in and say, I absolutely shut it off. And then it becomes a he said, she said. The plumber says I shut it off, and our staff says we weren't there.
And so, okay,
I mean, that's.
that's why you're chair. I'm sitting here.
I mean, I don't see anything to be gained. The plumber has said that he shut it off and he thought we were there afterwards, and we weren't there afterwards. So I don't see any valuable information that the plumber would give us. We see the leak reports, if we want to look at those for a second. From the CODA, started right on December 2nd. And it was the resident who, when asked when was her plumber there, she said December 2nd. And that's when the leak started.
So then I would request, if we vote to deny this, that when we do that, we send back a note, not just a deny, but a note saying that none of our staff were ever there. So the person doesn't have to come back and watch the whole recording.
I think that happened. Let's
It
take a
says
look at
here,
it,
the
yeah.
first part, It's kind of
Let's
the law.
see.
And they would have received this?
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, it was Wellesley. She would have been in
Agreement request.
communication all along.
So the plumber was there. And
Oh, yeah, here's all the emails. Here's Wellesley writing to the customer. Our records show that the last time we were at the property for this account was on 9/11/2023.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of correspondence.
Yeah, there's a ton, that's why I read it in advance. An awful lot.
I mean, she in good faith, I think, has been trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At any rate, that's all the correspondence that we've been going back and forth.
It's a garage property.
And she would have sent out those reports. I'm reading Gretchen's notes. We've attached the reports so you can see what we are seeing.
Yeah.
The plumber claims it was not left open.
See, that's what's gonna happen. We weren't even there.
We had flushing on Pleasant Bay Road and also sewage construction.
Yeah, but when they flush, they don't go near the meter.
Yeah, put another meter.
And flushing, just for clarity, cannot force open a,
Nope.
No, the flushing's from the hydrant.
I know, I'm
Yeah.
just
Oh,
Yeah.
putting it out there.
And there doesn't appear that they've ever asked for any other.
Did we go out there and look at this? Anybody check this out?
We went out there and data logged it, and that was it, that's what's in
We
there.
don't know if we have issues. Yeah.
No, they basically, the plumber went out there, from what I'm reading, the plumber went out there and shut the water off, say he did. And then, but then they came back with a high bill. They contacted Wellesley, and they were wondering if we went out there and turned the water back on, and we weren't out there.
Ah, okay. Well, at this point, I move we deny.
The motion has already moved to deny. We're waiting for them to finish discussion.
I'm finished.
Any further discussion? No? Okay, we have a motion and a second to deny. All in favor?
All right?
I-
And I'm an aye, 4-0. Okay. Next abatement is 132 Lower County Road. Now, these are just my notes, as I read them in advance. It was a large bill. They were billed for $3,400 and change. They're requesting an abatement of $3,300 and change. It looks like what happened was they had a service line failure. So they, had a lot of work to be done. I'm sure they had another bill that was for us renewing the service. Again, I'm just reading from these reports. But it looks to me like a service line failure. What do you think, Jason?
Yes, during the billing period.
And
Underground
so
service line.
they
Yeah.
must have settled that separately, I'm guessing, and this would be the water usage that occurred during, until the water was shut off per the failure. Also, it's interesting, it shows that some of the public is watching us. On the abatement request, the resident quoted a disaster rate
Yes.
and did request that we consider that, which is one thing we can consider because it's not irrigation. It's a sewer line leak. I mean, I have sympathy for anybody who has a service line leak. I hope that, I'm sure they were told about our service type program in the process of this. I wonder if service type covers the water use. Well, I'm not gonna
I don't
think about
believe this
that.
owner has service tight, so it wouldn't be part of this.
I'm sorry?
Or this person doesn't have service
Right.
tight.
Right.
Otherwise, it would have, if they had had coverage, it would have covered the service being replaced at the time of, but.
Does it cover their water usage as
No,
well?
no.
Okay, maybe they did, then, yeah, for that part of it. So, at any rate, on a item that I have from Wellesley, because she knew she wasn't gonna be here today, she did go ahead and calculate if we are interested in the disaster rate, what it would be. So I have those calculations if people go that way.
Well, on 1024, they claim, they show that it's leaking, we came out and it's leaking on homeowner's side of the meter, so it's their responsibility to fix leak. It has been leaking for a while. No valve on plumbing side and pit.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that account, I don't really
They were
understand
advised
all
to
of
get a
it.
plumber.
Right. I mean, it's clearly on their side of responsibility. The
Correct.
question is, do we deny the abatement in total, or do we consider a break for the water usage rate? That's really,
I would move
What
we
it's down
go to a
to.
disaster rate.
so just to give you the figures while we discuss that, per Wellesley, she calculated their average quarterly bill, which would have come to 155 and change, and then she calculated the excess water usage of 520,000 gallons at Tier 1, $1.42, which came to $700 and change. So per her calculations, the bill that would be owed by the customer would be $894.15, and the abatement would be $2,542.12. That's per black and white of the disaster rate.
And this was from one billing cycle or two billing
Quarter,
cycles?
I believe, right?
I believe it's one, let's take a look.
One billing cycle, I do
Yeah,
believe. yes.
552, it's on the report of usage, it's the one that is 552,000 gallons.
Have they fixed it?
Yes.
Looks like it came bubbling right up through the ground as they do, right?
But it was their service line.
It was
Yeah.
the service line outside the meter pit.
Right, on their
So just a
property.
plug for everybody to consider that service line insurance, and actually, I've been meaning to, can we text that out too? Because I know,
It's on every water invoice that's released, so they see that every single time that.
and
we release
everyone that gets
water.
a text also gets an email or a paper bill,
Yeah,
correct?
yes, yeah.
But she might have had service tank, right? I
We
mean,
would know if she had it, and
But
we
how-
keep records of it, and.
right, but could you tell me, did she have it or not?
She did not have it.
Oh, okay, all right,
And that's
yeah.
what caused them having to replace their service
Yeah.
and replace.
No, I
it with
understood
new
that,
service.
it's just where she's only discussing the water usage, I couldn't be sure, so.
Yeah.
So she didn't ask for any abatement on the renewal of the service line, so.
And Tracy, do you know offhand how much the insurance is for the year?
It's $17 per quarter, $68 per year, with a 90-day waiting period after a sign is received.
I'm a service type customer.
I am too.
Yeah.
Oh, she has a bill from her landscaping company that says there was no leak in the irrigation as of 11/10.
Right. I think she did that to prove, because where she quoted the disaster rate and where it clearly says not for irrigation, I
Right.
think she was trying to substantiate that, which is
Yeah.
very good of her to do that,
Yeah.
actually. I mean, it's her service line. Her service line, causes water. At least as a part of this, the staff managed to get the meter moved out of the pit and into her basement. So that's a plus. I'd always rather have it in a basement, right, than a pit. What do
Yeah.
I know,
It depends how far away the
All
house is
right.
from the road.
Yeah. Sounds better. But anyway, so they were back and forth with data logs and meters and moving pits and a lot of activity.
Have they subscribed yet to the,
I don't know.
That gets your attention, doesn't it?
it certainly does.
So did you make a motion?
I made a motion, we go to do the disaster rate as
All right.
requested.
I'll second that.
So that would be, we would be abating, Tracy, 254212. The balance to be paid would be 89415. All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay. Don't have abatements. Like the old days, Dion, right? All right, just let me get my ducks in a row here. My ducks back in a row. Okay, so, little change in pace here. I'm going to disclose that I'm moving the commissioner's report up, and I'm disclosing that I'm about to bring up an item that is not on our agenda, and I'm using the "this occurred in less than 48 hours" rule to discuss this situation, because this just came up Thursday afternoon, so too late to be able to, change things with the holiday and get things out. And of course, the whole situation will properly agenda at our next meeting and go through the whole thing. But what has happened is that our, retained earnings that we refer to, our year-end reports, came out the end of December, and they reported, water was in the range that we expected it to be in, but wastewater was reported by the state as being in deficit, as being a minus $75,000. Now, from my limited financial experience, I feel that it is absolutely an error, and I have, all kinds of data to substantiate that. So needless to say, when it happened because I follow these things to the state all the time, so knew immediately. I contacted the TA immediately and expected them to have some method to contact the state to find out how to correct these errors on our wastewater funds.
So the state contacted you, or can you just
You
set
said-
up how you found out? Or what?
Every year on the Department of Revenue site, these reports are released. I look at them regularly, so no, they didn't contact me. I look at the reports, they're online.
The
they're
state
public
ones,
record.
not
The state ones.
town,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Okay, so at any rate, unfortunately, everybody has vacations this time of year and stuff like that, so we set up a meeting to, discuss the situation. And also, there were concerns, which we'll discuss next meeting when we look at our budgets again. There were concerns about our indirect expenses. We seem to have to fight those out, every year nowadays. And also about our subsidy and how much, goes, since wastewater doesn't cover itself. So we weren't able to arrange the meeting, and by we, I mean Jason, Sandy, and myself, along with Tony, the acting town administrator, and Jen Mintz, who is the brand new finance director. So we met on Thursday, and, we discussed this situation, and the best way I can describe it is that, all due respect to Tony and to our new finance director, they are just totally buried. And please, Jason and Sandy jump in, they were certainly there. It's pretty clear that we certainly didn't get a date certain. Like nobody said, well, we're gonna look into this, but we might not be able to get to it to April. There was not even any hope that they might even get to it before June 30th, which would mean that those numbers would stand. And I mean, I haven't slept, for us to be in deficit, I believe our town numbers have been commingled. These are the figures, by the way, for you two who came to the charter meeting. Remember that extra piece I put on the end where I said they should sign off or whatever on financial matters? This is the kind of thing I was talking about.
They being town hall, just for
Yes,
clarity.
yes, the
Okay.
the TA and
Yeah.
to sign off with Jason. This isn't about the daily entries that, Sandy makes or anything like this. This isn't about any entries that we make. All of these adjustments are made by town hall,
Even though
So,
we're an enterprise fund?
yeah, that's how it works. Okay, so So I don't really see, I wrestled with this all weekend, and I don't feel comfortable putting my trust in people that are really overworked right now, that say they might try to get to that or something like that. They don't seem to have our needs as the top priority that we would like to have. So I would like to ask my board to give me a little leeway on this. And what I would like to do is this afternoon, I want to send off a request, a strong request, to the select board, and let's deal board to board on this. We tried to work through, Tony and staff. And I would like us to have a full audit of our wastewater enterprise fund from FY20 through FY25. I've discussed this with Jason and Sandy, and actually with Dan also, because he was here for 4 of those years himself, so it's kind of good that he is here. He knows very well how hard it's been. So that's what I would like to do, is to send that off.
I'm with you.
Thank you.
But
This is
I
important
want
to me.
us all to sign that request.
And
Well,
This comes,
Yeah.
Okay, one at a time, please. Okay. I'll tell you the truth. In the last few months, it seems like if I give something out and then we try to discuss it, it has a real negative reaction. So I wrote a letter, and it's a great letter, but I didn't want to hand it out because then people get upset. So I swore after last September I would never do that again. And so I'm asking for some leeway on this one. Finance is my wheelhouse, and Alan knows I helped design all these systems for wastewater. So I have CC'd you all, and it's a strong letter, and I'd like some room on this one.
You have copies?
This is the letter right here, but I'm hesitant to hand anything out, and then people yell they don't have time to read something.
my only, I like the fact that you're doing this because it puts them on notice. We saw this.
Right.
And so if anything, I would make it a little stronger. That's the only.
The other thing, I need to make this point, is that right now, the select board has no idea that's going on.
I know, that's the
Now,
big
let
problem.
me finish. I did send off an email to Pete Pykowski, and he's our liaison, and he's calling me this afternoon. But what bothers me is that, if the public were to come in here now and say, gee, Noreen, what's the status, or, like we'll be going before FinCom, of the wastewater funds, I'd have to say, well, gee, we're kind of waiting for these people to get to it. As an elected official, I wouldn't feel like we were doing our job properly of oversight of our funds. They've been butchered over 5 years of different people's styles. So I'm glad to hear you support me. How do we get this done? If I have to drive to each of your houses today, they're having a meeting tonight, and I'd like to get this off this afternoon, so it at least gets talked about.
I'm fine with it.
It's strong.
Look, I totally support you. I wish, as an elected official myself, that you had reached out on Thursday, Noreen. This is not a committee by one. And if you know the history of myself serving on other committees, trusts that
Yeah.
are separate from town government and having to deal with a chairperson that rightly or wrongly thinks that everything they do is, and my
Okay.
questioning that turned into such a hubbub.
Right. If I could have a chance to
That-
respond.
But let me finish.
All right.
We have not seen that letter. And you are not the only person in this room that does finances, number one. Number two, I'd really like to see the letter.
All right.
I just
Just tell me
respect.
when it's my turn to speak.
Okay, I'm not done yet.
All right.
Just relax. I think it's important that we work as a committee, because we are a committee. As the chairperson, you do not have more power than anybody else. You're just supposed to run the meetings. That's what a chairperson should be doing, not, and this is
I mean,
important
I
that,
have-
this is important that it gets addressed, but it gets addressed by the whole commission.
Is it my turn to speak?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. First of all, there was nothing that could have been reached out on Thursday. In that case, yell at Jason, he was right there. He was the superintendent. There was no decisions made on Thursday. There was nothing that we left with, to reach out to anybody on Thursday.
You could have put out a new agenda.
That decision hadn't even been made,
I'm just asking that we all get to read the letter and before you ask us for support like this, that's all.
Can I say something? Or you-
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I think
don't be hurt by it, please.
I am hurt.
Well, I think what you're upset about is the process, that there is no process the town has put in place for us to respond to something like this. That's what angers me a little bit, is that this has been left to fall through cracks for many, many years. And then it falls like on a Thursday of Martin Luther King weekend, a 3-day weekend, where you're gonna rush to post an agenda or notify other commissioners who may or may not be out of town. John was sick. I didn't know anything about it. I could have maybe attended a meeting, but I was also very busy that day. So I think what we're mad about is the process.
Yes,
And I do
Absolutely.
trust our chair to have our backs
absolutely.
on
So do
this
I.
sort of financial thing. I don't want us to get into the weeds, but having been my period of time on this commission, is we are not backed by our town liaison or the select board. And I'm adamant that we stand up for ourselves. And so a strong letter, I would just like it to say, we disagree completely at the beginning, and you need this audit. And we want it done sooner than later, because you're not hearing us. You don't come to our meetings. And so, if anything, yes, I want to see it on their desks and just tonight's meeting, so that they have it all. And that's my feelings.
What do you think, Alan?
I'm with him. Yep.
So what's the
I don't
board's
disagree with you
pleasure?
at all.
Do I have your permission to send a memo that will be agended at our next meeting and request a full audit of the wastewater fund?
Sure, fine, it's good to know.
Can I say one other thing? This is fine to go out exactly as it is. We can always send another memo, stronger, or, is that okay?
Oh, no, as long as nobody starts yelling at me for handing things
No,
out,
I say
one's
go
gonna
ahead and
yell
send
at
it.
you.
You have my
When has
sense.
anybody yelled at you?
I'm not
It's a
going to comment.
sense. I just thought, in the first paragraph, I would have said, I think you give yourself too much leeway. They need to be hit hard on this.
Quite honestly, in
Say,
the
if we
first
just
paragraph, I originally had more numbers, and it was sounding too much. See, I truly think that our numbers are not that far off from the states. I mean, I think it's, my personal opinion, only a matter of a few $100,000 that's been commingled.
Still,
So I didn't want to make it sound like it was like missing, it's not missing money, it's a question of where it's been classified and put.
but at the same time, I feel like we're also always fighting to be heard.
Hey, tell me about it, I'm exhausted,
And then they- and
I am
then
burnt out.
The finance chair
Let me make it
changes.
clear.
We've had TA
100%
changes.
burnt out.
We've had select board changes, and so we're still sitting there going our hands up, and they're
Yeah.
not calling on us.
100%
So,
burnt out, am I?
I feel like the only thing we get a response from is a tough letter. We did that with employees. We did that on another occasion with something. It caught their attention, and we got a response. So I say yes, send it. And if we have further questions, or we don't get a response, let's send another letter.
Oh, of course, we'll have meetings and other letters.
We've still
I'm
never
going
gotten
on
a response.
vacation soon, I just wanted to get this moving.
We've still never gotten a response to our attorney.
Well,
Request.
there's a different story about that, but could we save that conversation for another moment, please?
Would it be improper to CC whichever state department at the state that
I'll
does-
try to find their email and add them on, but, I mean,
Would it go through the state auditor's office, or would it go through the Department of
it's
Environmental
through the names.
Protection,
Is
or-
it Scoletti that's on the bottom of the auditors right now? I can't remember. You know, the people, the auditors they're not auditors. The state people, the DLS, Department of Local Services people, change every few years. I can't remember right now who's the one doing our territory.
But does it come under the state auditor's office? Because I can get
It's-
an email from that.
No, it's under the Department of Local Services, under the Department of Revenue.
We just got.
Oh, Department of Revenue.
Yeah.
The town
Okay.
administrator should help with that.
But no, I mean, I could get that, but I don't really, see,
I'm
the,
just asking.
all right.
I'm not suggesting, I'm asking.
Okay, and what I'm trying to say is that the state would need a request from the town to say, we need to dig into this error. And our problem is our current staff, I mean, they're wonderful for going forward, but they're overwhelmed. They just don't have time to get to it right now. And actually, to tell you the truth, I think it's better to do the full 5 years, from beginning to end. There's been so many
Yeah.
inconsistencies over the years. Let's be done with it for the department, you know, going forward.
Well, I think you have authority. Did we need to do a roll call or?
No, I mean, if I have your consensus, that's fine by me. This
Okay.
will be properly agended on the next meeting, and I'm sure we'll probably all be called in front of the board and go back and forth with some of these discussions, because there are other items that I won't go into now, which when Sandy next brings up our budgets, you know, towards the end of February, have to do with our decisions about our indirect expenses, the methods they're charged, and many things like that, that some people have gone ahead and changed our methods without talking to us.
For the spring, for the town meeting?
Different rules
Yes.
there.
For the FY '27 budget, we finally have some indirects, and the methodology has changed a little bit.
Oh, Just
Yeah.
when I thought things were.
I know. So we have a few other departments added back in again.
Yeah.
DPW, assessing, and health. So they've put those back in, and it's like Groundhog Day. We just went through this a decade ago with Dan here, and we worked to get rid of those departments because we're not utilizing them, and now they're back in. So that's another topic when we put it on the agenda for the board to vote the budget. That will be presented, the indirects, and we can go from there. But
I'd just like to close with one other statement. I made it really clear last May that I didn't want to be chair. All right? It's not my talent. I'm a researcher. I'm not the best communicator in the world. I really didn't want this. And, maybe I do make some mistakes. But I also am weary of criticism, Judith. And to be constantly saying that I remind you of Joe, or...
I didn't say you remind, oh my God.
Well, I thought that's what you were
No.
implying.
That's a big
No.
jump.
Absolutely not.
All right,
Absolutely
well,
not.
I apologize for that.
Whoa.
I thought that's what you were
I have the
implying.
greatest respect for you. I just have been used to serving on this board where the chair does not take as much initiative as you have. I'll put it that way. And, I mean, clearly you carried it, right? When we didn't have a superintendent here, you did 2 jobs, and I'm not great with surprises, that's all.
Well, no kidding, that's why I don't even give you out a letter, you guys, anymore, after last September, But, and if you don't remember, go back and watch the meeting. But all right, let's move on from there if we can, but just so you'll
Don't take it
understand.
personal.
This is not what I want to do, so please, please keep the criticism constructive, because I'm doing my best.
But it's process is what she criticized, it's not.
Oh,
I'm not
whatever it is.
criticizing you.
It's,
It-
it's a
it-
process, she just.
It's hard to, it would have been helpful to read your letter, because your letter's great, you know? I mean, it's needed and it just,
Not ChatGPT.
So can we go to the fashion show now?
Yes. So let's, these are difficult situations. Judith has good comments and I'm doing my best. Can we leave it there for
good
now?
job. Good job.
Okay,
I don't want anybody banging their.
I know, I don't either.
Yeah, we don't have a gavel here, do we? Oh, she does, oh my God.
Nine, don't touch it. To scratch my back, that's what that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I thought you were referring back to affordable housing. I would never have said that otherwise, so.
No, I didn't want to go there. I
Yeah,
didn't want to
okay,
go
all right.
into a chair
Yeah,
that just runs off.
I made a
Okay, you
misjudgment.
guys, I'm gonna ask for a hug in a minute.
All
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
Well, better that we do that than we make poor assumptions, so that was a good thing. So, thank you folks for your support, and believe me, there will be more
Make sure the
to
minutes
come.
record that. Hug happened here.
That would be an off-agenda hug.
It was recorded.
All right, so now this
I'll
is.
challenge him if it doesn't.
This has been perfectly designed that now we're gonna have Bob and Jason take over for the next topic, which is under new business, so. So, somebody take it other than me.
We're doing,
New
Staff
business, staff
apparel.
apparel. We were gonna get the staff some, either sweatshirts for everybody here, or a jacket, and also the board here also.
Hers is gonna say, keep back 100. I used to have a shirt like
mine will
that, I
say,
loved
just
it.
don't open your mouth.
So I think the last time that you all said that you'd like to, just to vote on that, so.
Did you get a bid or anything on this?
No, we didn't, we're still in
Okay,
the.
because
in
Karen will
that
be back
process.
in a month,
Yep,
and they're
Yep.
good.
yep.
It wasn't on
So-
the agenda last time, so that's why I
That's
didn't
right.
want us
It
to
wasn't on
vote
the
on it
agenda.
when it wasn't on
Yeah.
the agenda, so.
I'll make the move that what are we saying here? We want to explore this and get a bid or something? Or-
Well, I think we want to approve the
Just
purchase.
approve
Purchase
the-
I'll make a move, we approve purchase for apparel for the staff and the commissioners.
I'll second that,
Yeah, we don't have to know the exact to a penny amount.
We're gonna dress you up.
to get sweatshirts or something for the staff and for us.
Yeah, it'd be like one item per staff or.
Yeah.
First in like 60 years.
Right.
You think it's a good idea?
First one?
Actually, my experience is it's pretty common in utilities, I don't know why,
It
and in
is.
DPWs. I was telling them from when I worked at an electric plant, I have a hat, a bag, a sweatshirt that I still use in the yard. I got a whole bunch of wear something every year, so I'm not suggesting that, I'm just saying it's pretty common.
Yeah.
So we have a first and a second,
I'll do
all,
my first,
huh?
I'll
That's
do my
right, on your
first
way out.
Sweatshirt on the way out, yeah?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and I'm an aye.
Yeah, you gotta get them before
Yes.
the elections.
The only one I know that can do that is probably Karen. so.
I'm not running again. so,
Are you sure? Yeah, we still have time to twist your arm.
No, I'm all done. It's 60 years of this stuff.
Not easy.
And we are grateful. But we're not done with you.
There you are.
Okay, folks, so now I'm gonna hand it off to Dan Pelletier from Waterworks Consulting and Jason Trepania to talk about the issues of water rates and then into our Route 28 kickoff issues. So take it away.
You
go?
Go ahead.
All right.
Dan and I have been talking about this. and-
You know, I wonder, Dan, if you wanna come over here, that way you're on camera?
If that's
Might as well.
the pleasure of the board,
Yeah.
I'll hobble
Well,
over.
Yeah. What
Are
are
you
you
hurting
bothering
Oh,
for?
man, what happened?
Make us feel
Making a
happy.
snowman? Did that to you?
Oh, were you
All
okay?
right.
Hey, notice how old.
He's not commenting.
Notice how old he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for updating the rates, and I would ultimately defer to the board, but I know I've been sent the 7-year capital plan. There's obviously borrowings with the Route 28 east and west side. You know, for this to really be comprehensive, what I would propose, Jason and I were talking this morning, but go through the most recent year's water retained earnings, look at the capital plan and see where it may make sense to drop in some buckets of free cash, if you will, and what projects that you'd be looking to bond. Once we get bid numbers for the east side of Route 28, we would take that and the capital plan and go to a Hilltop to actually project out a 5-7 year budget for debt. We would then take that and incorporate it into projections for the operating budget, so we can really look at what the rates will not need to be, not just next year, but the next 3 to 5 years. So that would be kind of proposed strategy. And
Yeah.
That sounds
Discussion?
good. I have a question on, and, you know, again, I'm still new. On our rate structure, I notice we have a disaster rate. As we get into affordable housing and things like that, is there gonna be any low income rates or anything like that, nonprofit rates for people, you know, that come before us, you know, just,
Or organization.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just noted, people ask, I've had a couple comments about that, you know.
I mean, if it's something that the board wants to look at and incorporate into a future rate structure, I guess we'd have to start with kind of what program do you want to implement, what are the prerequisite conditions that someone would be eligible for that, and then would have to identify how many potential applicants and I guess see what impacts to revenue. I know in Pembroke, where I live, they have a senior citizen rate, which I think is just for the base rate, and so it's a reduced base rate. A lot of systems, you know, there's a lot of different things you can do with rates. If you survey a number of the communities around Harwich, you're going to see, I think Orleans has a base rate near $100 per quarter, where I think you guys are half of that. So really depends on the board's philosophy as to how to structure the rates and then what sort of programs you may want to entertain. And then just making sure that we're picking up the delta with the big bucket of rates for any offsets that you want to do.
Be interesting to look at other rates. You know, I always wanted to get those first 8,000 gallons free, but I'm afraid that's probably not going to happen in my time. It's just probably too radical a change for us to take on. Sometime I wanted it to be like sewer. But we are going to have some heavy borrowings over the next few years. I'm kind of hoping that, I mean, I don't know what the right thing to do is. Do we have a big increase? You know, we're certainly not going to decide today, but things to start to think about. We're going to have a big increase in July 1st, or should we try to, you know, half and half that over the next couple of years, you know? Those are the kinds of things that I'm just beginning to think about before he gets actual numbers in front of us.
That's kind of why I brought up those different structures. It could be
Right.
broken up possibly. What does Dennis do? Like Orleans, that's interesting to me. Brewster, I don't know.
Yeah.
What's around us, Chatham.
Chatham, I'll tell you, they're really hard for me to figure out because they do their rates by the size of the meter pipe.
Oh.
And I can't, I've tried to make an average of it. Dan's tried, and he can't do it. So I
Yeah,
don't know why
there's a
I'm
number of
trying.
ways that you can do that as a base rate. You either go by, you know, meter size, you can go by pipe size,
but-
or it gets really,
Yeah,
It's too complicated.
So let's-
yeah, it's
compare
very
Chatham.
complicated when it goes to that.
but the others, there are
Yeah.
others we can.
And is there a commercial rate versus residential?
We don't have one now in
I shouldn't be
Harwich.
arguing for one, I know.
In Harwich, I'm just mirroring what the assessors do. There's so little commercial in Harwich that if you were to shift some of the costs from the residential to the commercial, you'd really be killing those businesses. So we tend to go with one, at least on our taxes, we go with one rate. So that's just information.
I'm just thinking about borrowing debt, and when you said that, were you referring to just the water system?
Yeah.
And I know, Dan, in the past, you've done models, like long-term models, and our debt is restricted like each year. Like, how far out can we, how do I articulate this? So if you guesstimate that half of our system needs to be rebuilt, like if today, if somebody were to just write a big check to rebuild this part of the systems that need rebuilding of the water systems, and you take that big number, compared to what the town taxpayers are gonna be paying over the next 20 years or 50 years for the sewering, does it make sense for us to make more debt sooner, rather than people getting tired? Either raise rates, or, so where that delta is, I think part of it is also acceptance by the town taxpayers at a certain point, right?
We have to be able to explain it.
Yeah, and does it make more sense to try to fix more of the old infrastructure sooner rather than later, to get ahead of the, I'm just throwing, I'm not looking for an answer, these are where my thoughts are going. Because we are, as a town, going to, my understanding is, we're gonna have quite an increase over the next 5 and 10 years with property tax to offset the wastewater.
I would say you're talking a big problem that's nationwide.
Yes,
In that, you know,
absolutely.
the nation's infrastructure is approaching that 100-year life cycle, you know, life expectancy, and, you know, the Cape at the same time, they're building out a sewer collection system and treatment plants. I mean, it's not
Is that the
an
ideal
ideal
time?
marketplace for a taxpayer. I mean, I think the best thing that you can do to mitigate that is try and have, you know, steady increases instead of peaks and valleys, and, you know,
Okay.
try and balance, you know, capital investments with debt falling off to the best you can, but at some point, gotta take.
Yeah, when we were doing ours, before I started here, we would do 2.5% every year, automatic.
Automatic.
Automatic 2.5% every year, because everything is going up. Our electricity, our fuel, and we need to have that in there as 2.5% going up. So that was ongoing.
Yeah.
Unless we were doing a big project, say a Route 28, then we would take a look at that and say, okay, do we have to go to 5% this year instead of a 2.5%? So that's what we were doing. So those little increments don't hit as hard as a very big jump. So.
Yeah.
I want to add that, you know, I think that's great to start thinking about, and soon looking at discussions of the whole water system. You know, I really think that's our future. And I'm, you know, glad to hear it, along with the work Jason is doing on the hydraulic thing, the asset management, everything that will help us tie in all the future needs. Our immediate concern is that we, you know, don't have the funds we had a few years ago, because we're doing a lot more projects, so we're spending a lot more money. But right now, our immediate need is to be able to afford the about 8 million more that we're gonna have to borrow for Route 28, along with about 4 million for the new well, and along with, I'm just going from our capital plan, about 2 million for Mill Road
Mhm.
and Harbor Road,
Mhm.
and then 5 million for the, space building.
Anything about, any more tanks,
So,
painting?
just to finish my thought, so, I mean, that's substantial, you know, that
Yeah.
we've got to work over the first few years. But I think as soon as that gets, and obviously we can't take on much more unless it was some kind of a, you know, an emergency. But as soon as we get that mapped out, then, you know, that's what I think is the thing to be doing, to be looking at the whole system, especially with those new tools and figuring out a real plan, you know. The last few years, we've kind of been struggling to do the next thing, and we've had the delays from Route 28 and messed us up, but I think that is so on the money, you know,
No
but.
pun intended.
But but unfortunately, we do have these big debts in front of us now, Route 28, the other things, so we got like 2 hurdles to get over.
And an updated hydraulic model will show us any deficiencies within the
Right.
system.
Oh,
And then we
that's
can
true.
add that to a capital plan, a long-term capital
Yeah.
plan. So it's sort of like an à la carte, where they can do a 5-year, a 10-year, a 15, and a 20, and then you can, you know, we don't have the funds to do the $10 million project, but we have the funds to do all the little $1 million ones that would help out in the system. So that's something to look at when this is done. But I agree, just seeing what we have right now and working our rates around what we're gonna be doing in the next 5 years.
Right. Yeah, that building's really gonna be, it was a little idea years ago, that's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be an issue.
That's
too,
that's a
so.
work in progress with us and DEP, and so.
So we'll be getting information from you on that, all right? So next is Route 28. Here we go, this is our kickoff.
Route 28, I'll get with the east side first.
Okay.
So, the east side, the Mass DOT, basically on their website, and where you go and look at the permits for them, it said that they had a draft for us. They're working on a draft permit. That's basically, they're drafting the permit up to give us the permit, so we can go out to bid. That was, they said they were gonna have that done, completed, on or before January 7th. Still have not seen that. So we have, Mark has reached out.
But-
Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, just for information, that was the reason we held the meeting from the 13th to the 20th.
Yeah.
We thought
Yeah.
for sure
Yeah.
we'd have the permit by then, and it's so much easier to plan when you have something with a date, but,
I'm not gonna.
yeah, I know.
So then, we did not get the draft permit. I had GHD reach out to them last week. They're gonna reach out to them again this week to see where they are, because now it's, you know, after the holidays, they were supposed to have it, and we just don't have it. So that's where we are.
Everything is normal.
So everything's normal, yeah.
Sure is.
It's never changed.
And, yeah, Dan and I have been talking about that. And then we're also talking about the west side. Go ahead.
Before you go into the west,
Mhm.
so since we wait and wait and wait for this permit, let's say for the sake of discussion that the permit is issued February 1st. You know, let's just pick that date and make that assumption, which is very possible. If not before, then it could be today. I don't know if we should talk about western outreach first, or talk about eastern outreach, or maybe go to west first, since that's happening first. All right, I don't know.
Yeah, we've, Dan and I have been going back and forth on public outreach and how do we incorporate this, the west, if their project has not been awarded yet to anyone. They have the bid results in, and CC got the lowest bid, but they have not signed off on that. We don't have a construction schedule for that and a start date.
Okay, so the west,
Yeah.
which has, the DOT is doing roads, sidewalks, lighting, and they've been out there a lot. I've heard housing people talk about all the work that's been done going to be done in the west. So that's to me is an advantage. At least some of those people know that there's gonna be construction on the road. They might not know anything else, but that's something. I've been told that none of our people in the west would lose water until the fall. You know, they wouldn't go through that 1 day loss of water. So what we're trying to outreach for is really construction in the road, which is a big thing, but not, you know, at least into your water. So we got the DOT doing whatever the DOT's doing, and then we have the sewer pipe going in and the water pipe. Now, a couple of years ago, that's all this project is, I had talked to a couple of select board members to say, well, the sewer pipe's yours and the water pipe's ours, so maybe we could join together on an info session. Now, we got all those delays, those two select people are gone, so we're back to zero, but it is a thing that there are, you know, there's dot, sewer, and water going on in terms of how we educate the people in the west to get ready for some construction and disruption. And that's probably gonna happen. Any idea?
So Dan and I have been going back and forth on this. Yeah.
South Yarmouth.
This,
Yeah, there you go. Let's go over there and find out what not to do.
there's a lot of guesstimates on this, and when are they gonna award the contract? Are they gonna start, you know, this spring, or are they gonna start in the fall? And then there won't be any shut-offs until springtime the following year. Are they gonna be working straight through the winter? That's everything that we're trying to, once we have a construction schedule, we have a bid for the east side, we're gonna have a really good idea of public outreach and what is Mass DOT actually doing.
You just said east and you said Mass DOT, so
Yeah.
again, I got confused.
Yeah. So once we have a construction schedule
Right,
for the west with
Right.
Mass DOT,
right, no,
and once we have a bid date for
the east,
the east,
Okay.
we're gonna
Yeah.
have a really good idea of,
right.
to kick off, so.
So
If you can,
everything-
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would recommend, you know, just where they're two independent projects, the DOT project is gonna have, obviously, the water interruption that will occur, the traffic interruption, but all these residents are gonna be asked where they want their sewer lateral to be. So, you know, there should be some coordinated outreach with the select board. I don't think it would make too much sense for the water department to hold an info session
Right.
one week and then the select board to host one
No, it
another
should be
week.
coordinated,
It should
yeah.
be,
Mhm.
you know, a coordinated effort. I can certainly reach out to Dawn, the select board, and at least start that discussion. You know, as Jay said, that really, there isn't a ton to talk about until we have a construction schedule. They may start doing water main this winter and try to get some pipe in the ground before spring, and then they may start the sewer next fall. So, I guess really, the time now is to get our heads wrapped around it, the two boards in sync, and then start the outreach when we have a schedule.
I mean, I'm fine with Dan reaching out to the select board. I don't know how others feel.
I think it's
I'm
good.
not opposed.
I didn't think you would be.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'd say we direct him to
Yeah,
do that.
I offer that as I also have, you know, the existing agreement with the select board to help
Yeah.
out with the sewer
It's an
stuff, so I think it
Yeah.
kinda makes sense to.
Makes great sense.
My biggest problem is, am I gonna run again?
Might be.
50 years now, I'm not sure.
hard not to, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get you the water department sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that would be to coordinate info meetings. If we can talk about info meetings for a second, after seeing all the ZBA meetings and everything else that's been on for the last few months, and I was sitting next to Jamie at something, so I had the opportunity to chat with her. I really hope our info sessions can be held in the Griffin Room. I mean, the other facilities in town, just the acoustics and everything else, you know,
They're hard.
they're real. And I checked on the capacity,
In what room?
The Griffin, the regular,
Oh,
yeah.
that town.
You know, the others, the 204, the others,
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to tune into some and the sound was, terrible, but I did check the capacity with her for that room, and of course, I've already forgotten it, so.
Griffin?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably
But
50, maybe.
I think it was more like 70, but I
Well,
think
maybe.
that's standard, but they did a good job with the overflow room, and, I don't think our problem's gonna be overflow, it's usually not, it's usually filling the room,
No
you know.
pun intended.
Yeah. So that's one thing I feel. Plus, then when they tape things, the tape's really good for people that just want to tune into the tape, but, I mean, should we start preparing flyers? I mean, this has
I think
been,
it's
we
too
were so
early.
prepared a year ago, and then we had all those delays.
I think
Um,
it's too early,
Okay, we
Yeah.
need some facts.
yeah.
And
We
if
really
you already
do.
have those the flyers from last year that you could just maybe
Yeah.
update. Because
Yeah.
visually, they were very nice.
Yeah, they're all right. Of course, that was for the east. That was originally the first project, now that's the second project.
Oh, you think West is gonna want something different visually?
For sure.
That's great.
You're right.
So, I mean, it's obviously gonna be a period since unfortunately with the bout of all these unknowns where we might have to have some kind of quick meetings, or our meetings might be once a week and then once every 3 weeks, there's gonna be some chaos for a while, nothing new.
No,
We've had chaos for years, so I guess we can manage a little more. I don't know if, I haven't recontacted Cindy Williams yet or anything, because we, just don't know anything.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd wait on that.
Yeah, so, I don't know what else we can possibly,
I mean, we could find out today. We could get a construction schedule and next meeting might be totally different, I
Yeah.
don't know.
yeah.
You know?
and if that happens, if we have to have a meeting and then a meeting a week later, I mean, unfortunately, we're being kicked around by the information. Judith?
Well, yeah, you know what?
What?
We have two professionals.
Yeah,
They've seen it all.
Yeah.
At one time or another, whatever.
I'm sorry, Judith.
Oh, I was just thinking, if I were a homeowner in that area, one of the questions that I would ask is it really just the water's off from like 8 to 5, let's say, or 7 to 4? Or could it be that something happens and the water is gonna be shut off for 2 days? What happens to me? Does the town put it, and you're talking, it never happens?
No, no.
Okay.
No, not for 2 days. It may be,
Just
it
put
may-
it in
yeah,
the
So solid.
we couldn't,
because,
yeah, we can't do that. We can't just shut it off for 2 days, no. It would
Okay.
be,
That's a health issue.
strategically shut off.
Well, my
within
question was gonna be.
Within a set
Will
time.
the town put them up in a hotel or something?
No, it
It won't
should
happen.
not be,
Okay.
No,
no.
So we just shutting things off, it's got nothing to do with some pipe getting broken and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, it's always somebody could hit a pipe where they have to shut things down, but hopefully we can,
In and out.
yeah, that it won't be like that.
That's a quick fix.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now we put the water main down the road and we're gonna start connecting houses. So now we'll actually, coordinate with the homeowner, hey, we're gonna shut the water off on this date for this amount of time to connect you to the new water main. And then we'll do that. Once everybody's off the old water main, on the new water main, we can retire the old one. So, and it
Have a
will be.
retirement party?
Yeah. So in a perfect world, that's how it's gonna go, but there may be some hiccups in construction, so we'll just deal with those as we.
But, when I think about just my years and seeing water go in for the first time
Yeah.
in many parts, it hasn't been all that bad.
No.
Right. That's what
No.
everybody says.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people are looking at all of 2 miles of Route 28, but if you just look at 200 feet a day, and it's the little 200 feet a day, the little projects, then,
Yeah.
That's how I look at it, and I, you know,
Amen.
yeah,
For me, growing up here, and it was the big day in town when we got a new well,
yeah.
First wells were kind of crappy, and then state rules changed, and they had to upgrade. So when the water, some fantastic water just came along, it's like, wow. But just to see the department change over the years, Jack Hughes was here,
Yeah.
first superintendent, he was my neighbor across the street,
Yeah.
and on Carlisle Street, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
See it come, yeah.
Okay, so a couple other things. Even though we can't proceed on a set schedule, would this be a time where we should be starting to compile lists of addresses? We may need to write letters to the residents along both sides of this. I don't know if you get those from the assessors.
We had the paper.
I can do that.
Yeah, we
should
might as well
start.
start getting those things ready. The other thing is, how about, you probably already have, or somebody has, but how about having conversations with police and fire to start to get them in the picture?
Yep.
Where's the staging area gonna be for the west side?
Again,
It's too early.
we don't even have a construction thing, so they don't even know where the staging area is or anything.
Isn't that something we provide though?
Not on the west side, no.
In general, it's typically left to the contractor to source their own
Yeah.
staging area.
Right, but usually we kinda help
Work with
them. Huh?
I think
Work with them when possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're out there with the jackhammer already.
The 204, or the community gardens is probably a reasonable spot.
Yeah.
System.
I'm looking back at our notes from a year ago, it's so sad all
Yeah,
the
we'll
time
have
we
to take a
spent,
look at
but
that.
that's all right.
Or local.
Oh, that's another thing, I think some of
Yeah.
these notes are
Behind where the
good.
old tank used to be.
Yeah.
So, another thing would be now to start to think about or develop maps for the public. Maps are gonna be really, that's what people are gonna wanna see at our, whether they're in flyers or letters or info sessions, but
Detour maps.
yeah, and we did have some maps from Bob, what was his name, Drake. So remember we had those couple, one of the east and one of the west, so check that out first, but we might even want it of smaller sections or bigger, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, something good. Bill's stuff is we'll miss. We were worried then about, should we talk about both phases at once? Well, I guess we're stuck with both phases at once, that's the end of that, so, all right. Anybody else have any questions on that? No?
Should I hobble back?
You can go, but actually.
You don't like being up here? It's like old times.
Actually,
It's a more comfortable chair.
yeah, actually, as you were here for many years, your input on the next topic might be helpful, or not, so. Okay, folks, back to the charter.
I thought we were doing a contract approval.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Bob. So we have, we signed 2 contracts in December. They were both for the west side. That was for GHD and for Dan. And now we are voting to approve.
Amend the east side and approve the east side for
To improve waterworks.
Waterworks consultant to,
I'll move that we approve the amendment for GHD and that we approve the waterworks consulting contract.
I'll second that.
And Judith wasn't able to make it at last meeting, so wanted to make it clear that what Jason has done, which we're also happy with, is that he has worked out where he has removed the oversight costs from the GHD contracts on both east and west, and instead, we are hiring Waterworks Consulting to be our resident representative and fill those. And I will disclose that we're paying slightly more for that. The cost in the GHD contract was $99 an hour. They traditionally, for their resident observer, have like a college kid, you know, it's not much help to Jason. And with Waterworks Consulting, we'll be paying $175 an hour. So it's an incrementally higher, and I think it's the best money we've probably ever spent, but I just wanted to disclose that. And we have enough in the,
That's GHD.
yeah,
Yeah.
both, we're gonna be signing both, yeah, and one for DM. So did we have a first and a second on that?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
So all in favor?
All right,
I'm an aye, and I heard Bob say aye
Yeah.
before we even got on. So we'll sign those at the end of the meeting. So, okay, now he's gone. All right, let me start. So everything that we did, you know, back summer through November with charter was all to do with Chapter 6, which had to do with the board section. And we had a great session in November. Judith and Bob were there. Everybody participated, got a lot of good feedback. And eventually, on Chapter 6, my next thing will be to rewrite the section with red, you know, like what it was before, for us all to look at in one piece rather than all pieces. So that's Chapter 6. Now, this is completely different, all right? This applies to Chapter 5 in the charter. And in Chapter 5, you will see, I repeated it for you so you wouldn't have to look up the charter. You will see where it says Chapter 5 Town Administrative Organization, where they list Division of Finance, Public Works, Police Department, Fire Department, Planning Department, and the Water and Wastewater Department was never listed. The department itself was never listed in the charter. The board was, but not the department.
And that's got nothing to do with it being an enterprise fund? I'm just
No,
asking.
No,
Okay.
yeah. As a matter of fact, you'll love this. Oh, do I have it? I'm going to give this to you, Judith. In my trying to resolve some of...
There's no library.
In my, I know, well, that's up to you, but I don't know. Remember, you guys are discussing, and that's your
Yeah.
discussion, why you're putting some in and why you're not. But it seems like water and wastewater, you know, is one of the ones that should be. But I thought of you when I saw this. When I was trying to get information from the state on our messed up numbers, I came across this. Just read that bottom line. You can have that piece of paper. That's from the state.
Enterprise fund is not an autonomous entity, but a department of a city or town.
Yep. So just to read, I thought that was cute. I thought of you. At any rate, okay, so this,
But it doesn't say what an enterprise fund is then.
well, I'll give you that, that's
Under
75
state.
pages of that.
Well.
You can have that if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
I'll take a picture so you can have it.
All right, so at any rate, now we're talking about Chapter 5, which has various departments listed, not us. And the Charter Committee will take Judith's expertise on that, you know, why they're gonna list this one or that one, you know, time will tell as they continue with their revision. But it was brought up at our November meeting with the Charter Commission. And so I put this language out here just as a conversation starter. It's nothing that I'm pushing or, you know, trying to put forward or anything else. As a matter of fact, if somebody else would like to write the language, I'd be thrilled, you know, but I wanted to get the conversation going. And I've already heard from some staff because they noticed it as they were putting the packet together. So this very much involves our staff as well. And it's nothing we're deciding today. We'll have this on the agenda for a couple months. Love to get it. I did send it in, just so you'll know, Judith, to the Charter Commission, just for them to know that we're still interested in adding language for our department if they choose to. But just so you'll know, it's all, draft at this point.
And I don't know if you watched the one
I
2
watched
weeks
them all,
ago.
yeah.
But we did come to a consensus, or they did the previous week when I had just called, and so that was nice that, the superintendent and so that the employees of the water and wastewater department would be overseen by the superintendent and ultimately
Right.
us, as opposed to the town administrator. So that was great.
Yep. So, I mean, as I say, I put these 2 sentences down only because I was just kind of following what they had for fire and police, and we can write whatever we want, but what we're trying to do for the very first time is describe the water and wastewater department, not the board, and as I say, this language doesn't mean anything. By the way, just so you'll know, on this language, I heard from staff, and their comment was that they really felt that dismissals should be handled by both, this is staff now, by both the board and the superintendent. I had written it up that it was all again, just words, that it was all the superintendent. So those are the kinds of questions we might want to toss around. And we may want to have some staff visit us. I mean, it's their department, with some comments. And it's the charter's project anyway. We aren't the final deciders, although I'm certain they'll take our recommendations, we'd certainly consider them anyway.
And I think too, just to put it out there, the idea that the superintendent or a superintendent and commissioners would oversee the employees still have access to the town's human resources officer, because they're supposed to be independent of the town administrator. They're supposed to act like independent just for employees.
Right.
Just wanted to throw it out there.
So, I don't know, I mean, I'll tell you, I'd really love it if somebody else would take up the next whack at this,
I'm gonna nominate Bob, since he's not in the board, and he's a good writer.
It'll probably be
He
5
likes to
pages.
write.
Yeah, no,
Well, I
he's good,
mean,
he's
I
good.
think-
If Bob or John?
Or John. John will be one word. John
I know.
Yeah.
will come back to your.
I just want to show that I'm not taking ownership and I'm still working on kind of the board part, but I didn't want us to forget this piece.
Yeah,
Um,
I would, and I don't mean it just because he's not in the
Yeah, I
room,
know
but
what
I
you
would-
mean.
I
I'd
would
like a little
nominate Bob.
different bent on it,
to take
And
the
I
seat.
still have work to do on the board part, which is time consuming.
Yeah.
So this is a whole different chapter, but it's our chance to put the department into the charter, and it's not in there now, as Alan has said, more and more off. I told you, Alan, I'm gonna get this in there before you leave.
Or maybe I'll change that to Bob and Alan work together. I'm nominating you, Bob, for something.
Because she's been nominating you for stuff while you're out of the
You shouldn't
room.
have left the room.
You should.
Okay,
Um,
we'll see.
All right,
I'd say that-
let me try to fill Bob in real quick to our conversation we just had, all right? So, everything we did from the summer through November in the charter was about the board, section 6.
Okay.
This is completely different. This is chapter 5, which is about the departments.
Okay,
And you'll see, I put the whole thing in, I didn't want to make you have to look up the charter.
yeah,
You'll see in here as you read, police, fire, planning, and we were never listed.
right,
So as came up during our meeting. So I put these words down, but but this is brand new. You can write anything. This is just a conversation starter, these two lines.
Okay,
And just so you'll know, I already heard from our staff, and I think we should get more input from them, but I heard from them saying that they didn't want the superintendent only to be in charge of dismissals. They wanted it to be the board and the superintendent. I'm just telling you what's happened, I'm not expressing an opinion. And the other thing that came up was, I honestly don't know how we do hires. I mean, I know how we hire the superintendent, but I always thought we had a strong superintendent, and the superintendent takes care of that on his own. That's my opinion.
That's how it's worked.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So let's leave,
All we've ever done is,
right,
right, the superintendent puts in the paper,
yep.
amen, he's
So-
working with them.
So while I was writing this stuff up for the charter committee, I put a note in it to Linda, because trustees, you know, there's some similarities. And I noticed in her language for library, their hires are done jointly by their board and their director. And I wrote to Linda, which you'll see at your meeting this week, and said, please clarify this, because in water, I always felt it was done by the superintendent only. So we can do what we want to do, you know.
But, you
I
know,
don't think we
this is-
follow that.
This has come up in the past.
Yeah,
And generally speaking, the superintendent is the individual that has them day-to-day, hour to
Right.
hour, and all that. So in all fairness, he has to work with them.
I agree.
So if he says it's a go, then the board usually supported the superintendent. Okay? And if he has to fire him, he has to fire him. So the board goes along.
The only thing, my only concern about dismissals, I mean, you know, they very rarely come up, was that, you know, sometimes there can be a personality conflict or so. I mean, I'm just talking about my past experience as a manager. You know, sometimes that can be a little, I'm 100% with you on hires, but dismissals sometimes can be a little different thing. And the staff mentioned to consider, you know, that they be shared between the board and the superintendent. I'm just repeating.
You know, I have to say, in my 50 years
Yeah,
of involvement, that issue like that has only come up once or
Right.
twice.
yeah,
One time with the parks I was on. And the thing of it is the superintendent or the head who's working with that employee is gonna have, you know, why have some angry, aggravated soul around you day after day, and you can't do anything about it? I can't do that to an individual, especially
Yeah.
one that's running a department. So.
Can I say something?
I've always supported.
yeah. Again, I'm not pushing aside here, I'm just getting the
Yeah.
information out. Go ahead.
Okay, so I agree with Alan, because we have to have a strong superintendent. First of all, the library is open certain hours,
Right.
and it's a much different
give the
operation
information. Yep.
completely than us. We're open 24 hours, 7 days a
Yep.
week. If there's an emergency call and there's a problem and somebody is not up to the job, it's up to the superintendent to make sure that gets solved. And then our recourse is to go after the superintendent. If we think that employees aren't being treated fairly or what have you, the appeal process goes through him. And I just think you're opening a can of worms if you have everybody able to come to us under this abatement sort of employment. It would create a monster.
Well, it's not me, I'm just giving you information.
Historically, the superintendent is that charge
That's
of the
right.
employees. And I'm not about to change it.
Yeah, I agree.
It works, leave it alone.
And the employees have the human resources
And unions.
office
all
and
of
unions. I mean,
that. So I think they're very well covered.
and if there's something completely egregious, I would hope that they reach out to us and
They
we
can do
bring it
that.
up to a superintendent, but I don't know that that's ever happened.
Well, I mean, in my time and years, I've had that encounter a couple of times where they bypassed the department head and came to the board and issues as all said and done.
Yeah.
The department head was right along, should have been gone long ago. You know,
Yep.
there was an issue and they're creating problems, and rightly so. So if you take it away from the individual that has a day-to-day,
I
you're just
agree.
having more problems.
I agree.
Yeah. Well,
Let me just add one more thing before I say something. These words where I wrote, including the appointment and the removal of the time, we don't even have to address it. You know, I'm just saying, this was just a conversation starter, you know. But I would like to hear what Jason thinks about the situation, and we're putting you on the spot. We have a few more meetings to discuss this,
Yeah.
so don't feel this is the final
Yeah,
round.
and I agree with Alan that the superintendent, and you're gonna have input not just by one person with anything that's like this. You're gonna have input, it could be from office staff, it could be from an assistant superintendent. But whenever that's brought to me and whenever that's a plan to terminate or a plan to do something like that, I would actually talk with the board,
Right.
you know, and say, this is what's been transpired, this is everything that's been documented on that, and this is basically what I would like to do.
Yeah.
And then it would be discussed, I think.
Yeah.
I can't just say, okay, you're fired, see you later. You know, I think that the board would need to hear it out and say, you know, is there probable cause for this?
Yeah.
That would be,
It's worked very well.
you know,
So while you were out of the room, your colleagues, because I kind of like a fresh voice in this, you know, I'm handling chapter 6.
How can there be a fresh voice while I wasn't in the room?
Oh, you're fresh, you're fresh. Everybody here is fresh, that's the problem. But, you know, I'm gonna do, on the chapter 6 board part that we all worked a lot on, I'm gonna do a rewrite of that with red line from A to Z, so we can all look at it. And I kind of like to divorce myself from this section. You know, you'll see, this is the whole section of the charter, and you can read, you know, what police and fire and other people wrote.
Okay.
And you can write whatever you want.
So I nominated you and Alan to work together.
Okay.
Your prose ability and his history of the department to come up with the next 25 years of the charter.
My intentions are not to seek re-election. I'm all done. I'm gonna retire.
You're gonna come visit us though?
Who knows?
Town
You
meeting.
gotta come, no, at our
I'm
meetings.
thirsty.
We'll give
I'm
you,
not thirsty.
we'll give you a special chair. How's that?
Don't you know? No, I'm gonna call it quits. I can't remember when I haven't had a town job.
I know. I can't remember when you haven't had
A
one.
long time. So,
I do want to say on this section, you know, those charter people are working really hard. You know, but you can tell that, you know, within about a month, it looks like they're probably gonna try to wrap up their first round and start to talk about.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to get some language to them, I'd say by early March would be my target on this. But my last question on it would be, do you think we have to solicit input from the staff? I mean, and this is about the water and wastewater department, not about the board.
and yes, by all means,
Good, I'm glad to hear
because
that.
that's where the action is,
Right,
in the staff.
right.
So,
How do we do
That
that?
should be on the back of the t-shirts or sweatshirts. That's where the
Yeah.
action is, the water department.
That's yeah.
Flowing.
So how would we do that? Get another write-up and then put it in front of the staff? I want to hear from them, it's their department.
As far as what, how it's operated?
Oh, I don't know.
So there's only 2 pages to this thing?
No, no, jeez.
May I share the former hiring
Yeah.
process?
So this-
Oh, that's, yeah, he hired, that's right.
Again,
Real-time action.
Yeah, just, I mean,
Oh,
for
okay.
context, I think it's relevant. I mean, traditionally, when we would hire,
What the hell else you got here? You got some, oh, that was their request for more info, and that's the same thing, just on that.
okay.
Don't go any further. Stop
Well,
it.
okay,
It's
so,
just to it's just to put in a few lines about what
right, but it
the,
doesn't say, it says creation of the wastewater department, it doesn't say water wastewater commission?
No, because that's separate, section
That's-
6,
Okay,
which you can look up at any time, and and that's all that other stuff we talked to, which we still have to finalize. I'll be putting a red line
oh,
in
the
front
water
of us.
resources or
No, the
They
water
didn't
and
have
wastewater, about remember the split, and what our name is,
Yeah.
and, you know, all that stuff, you know,
So Dan was just gonna tell us about
Yeah.
his experience.
yeah. All right,
Okay.
you done? Thank you.
so
I got like minutes.
traditionally, the hiring was unique. We would put out an advertisement. I feel like the majority of the time, I would conduct the initial interview. I would often have staff sit in on that. Once there was a candidate that we wanted to recommend for appointment, I would submit that to the town administrator. We would have a second interview with myself and the town administrator, who would then draft up the offer letter, and then it would go on the select board agenda for, formal
Oh, I
approval.
didn't know that.
Because the administration took the position that they are the employer and the select board is the employer, and
Whatever.
it's very muddy.
Yeah, but
um,
that's changing through charter language.
Which is excellent.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just gonna
Very
be,
Right,
pleased with
right.
Which,
that.
which
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And if anything, the commissioner's input is relevant, but not so much town
Right.
hall, at least in,
yeah.
I mean, maybe
I mean,
one
unless-
commissioner is on one of the interviews, the early interviews.
I would
Yeah.
say to leave no
Yeah,
question, having language in there would be good, so that it couldn't be left to the
Right.
interpretation of a future
that is our goal.
person.
Yeah,
Um,
and unless Jason was proposing a brand-new position, that's a different thing, because the union gets involved, or unless he was proposing that our dog catcher be moved up to grade 19, and it's normally grade 2, then that becomes a different discussion, because there's who knows what involved. But the normal rehiring of a person who's left, I'm happy with the way it is, so.
Well,
So,
I think, and we need to get it clarified, but I'm wondering if that means that you would be doing the negotiations with the union, or no?
No.
No.
The position,
It all depends how the charter's made up, but I would think if it would be the
Yeah.
board for a negotiation.
well, we
with
have the
union.
established positions, right? Salaries, grades,
Yeah,
what have
yeah.
you.
And unless.
So that would mean you could hire for those existing
right.
positions,
Within
somebody
the range.
leaves, you hire.
Yes, yes.
And I
The only,
assume
the
you
only,
inform us.
yeah, the only thing I'd foresee in the future of a new classification of a new hire would be if we put somebody as a treatment operator in the wastewater.
Yeah,
And I think we should
those
ask,
things are gonna
Yeah.
come up.
I think we should
Yeah.
ask for that in this.
Well, You should have,
Write it,
you should have
That's why I
that
nominated you, Bob.
flexibility.
Right.
Well, it's, if you're gonna project out what we need to raise rates for, or other projects, we should project out what positions we could see happening in the future.
this is charter, so they normally don't put that type of information in it. Judith can explain it better, because it's so hard to change. Normally, things like that would go in the bylaw, but, I would say just right away and we'll critique it, rather than
Okay.
try to discuss it. Because remember, these are really hard to change once they're written, so.
That's why I think there should be a little bit of language in there.
And does
Right.
it, and does the language also say for negotiations with the union.
Yeah, I guess it would, or it's,
That's a whole nother thing, but I know it's gonna be brought up. I don't know if it's gonna be.
I'm gonna ask that.
I don't know, but I think they brought it up at the last one. Isn't that how the library is?
No.
No?
They don't
Not-
want
not the
department heads.
union. Oh, okay.
negotiations.
I was,
Well, I think part of the challenge is that some of the staff here is the same union as staffers in
Yeah.
other parts.
so it's hard to do.
It is hard.
Yeah.
And
I got
town
rid of
meeting is the
something.
one that
Good. Well, I
approves
don't-
new.
I wasn't here, I'll have to read the
Yeah.
minutes.
Well, it'd be
Okay.
nice to have a different voice coming in with some of this stuff too. I think it'd be nice, so. All right, so at our next agenda, I hope you'll have something. About the yellow.
Pressure.
Oh my God, I can't help myself. Okay, so now the next section, which is, let's do superintendent's report. Hallelujah.
I can definitely hobble off now.
Yes.
Yeah, you can hobble out now. You're no longer part of the superintendent's report.
Are you doing okay back there? I mean,
What happened to you?
Jujitsu. A guy
Oh,
made my knee go in a direction it wasn't supposed to go.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
You
that's
should,
tough.
you sure are aging since you left.
sit over there, it's more comfortable. That's-
This would be a,
All right.
all right, we talked about Route 28. The new well, number 15, the final report was submitted to DEP. We'll be waiting to hear back from them on the permit for that, for our new well. That was just submitted last week, so that's good. The hydraulic model, an update on that. They have system information. We've been going back and forth, giving them information on that, on our system, our pump stations. This spring, they were out doing flow tests all over town. They got to do about 30 flow tests on different hydrants all over town. And what they'll do is they'll really, they'll fine tune this hydraulic model in. And I'm hoping for a delivery by, let's say June on that. So
wow.
that's really good. The Oak Street tank painting is complete. It came in under budget.
Wow.
Gee,
Yes, it came in under budget, $87,272.
there's your state money right there.
Yeah.
So that's really good
Great.
news, yeah. Cybersecurity, that is ongoing. We will be ongoing in that for the next 3 years and into the future. But we do have a grant that we're going for $50,000, a state grant for $50,000, and that will upgrade all of our SCADA computers out there and get us, because they need to be upgraded. Asset management, that grant has been submitted to the state. We're waiting for news on that, and in the meantime, we're going to be getting hold of Elements and discussing their asset management. So the staff will have a meeting with them, and we'll be taking a look at that. Sewer, we're ordering grinder pumps. They should be in. That's we're setting up that for phase 2 ordering grinder pumps. We're setting up the account now. The administration is, so that's good. And Bay Road, RJV, between Bobby Hour and RJV, they corrected all of Bay Road. There was some dips in the pipe.
Is this part of Vicksburg?
Yes, it is. It's part of Vicksburg. Vicksburg was corrected. RJV, RBO came in, that's Bobby Hour, they came in and took care of that. They installed the sewer main down, took care of Vicksburg, where they were having an issue. They put another manhole there. But there was still an issue on Bay Road between two manholes after Vicksburg. The contractor in Phase 2, RJV, I'm getting mixed up with all these initials. RJV came and they actually repaired between the new manholes where there was
Wow.
slopes, so, and that is all done. So I'm happy to report that that is gone. I know, you probably, because it started with Dan when he was here, and it's all been corrected. It's been
He
that
even
long.
showed me a sewer, the inside, a
Did-
film once,
I
of
did.
the inside of a sewer pipe. I thought he was like losing it, you know? And I was like, I've seen enough.
You were elected.
This when they cameraed it, and you could see all the dips.
He was all
This is great, it's
excited,
right there.
looking at this thing going like,
Of course, I was all excited. So, and, yeah, that is my
okay.
superintendent.
I'm gonna ask you to add one on.
Yes.
For my colleague Judith, since she wasn't able to attend our last month meeting, Jason gave a little update on what we call our flow increase requests, because at some point we're gonna be invited to a joint meeting with 2 other boards, and so you won't get blindsided if you could give the quick
All right, I'll watch the
spiel.
last
Well,
recording.
he can give you the
For-
quick and.
Jog my memory, please. for
All right,
these
so-
requests.
Life's getting too complicated. So, we have people some are
Okay.
in the non-Seward area, some are we got a new one now in the Seward area, we got somebody with an ADU. Bottom line, these people are all asking to increase their flow allowance. You know, they have septic 5, they're allowed only 66 or 4,400 gallons a day, or whatever that rule is. And by the state, they're allowed to do that. On the other hand, we have conflicting problems, like in the Seward area, our agreement with the state for our SRF funding and our CWMP is that we stay flow neutral.
Right,
So how do you increase the flow and then still say flow neutral? And then on the other hand, Dan reached out to the DEP and they don't know, but they kind of think if we stay under our 300,000 cap that would be okay, but nobody really knows. Then in addition to that, it's mentioned in our sewer regs. So you take over now where the Board of Health wants us to.
So the Board of Health wants us to approve it, but we don't know if we have the right to approve that. We don't know if the selectmen need to approve that,
Where's our
because
attorney?
it is a flow increase on a CWMP. So we need to have a meeting with the Select Board,
yeah.
Board of Health, and to see who, because we're not built out yet. We don't know what
Right.
our flow is. Do we think it's gonna be under? Yes, it could be possibly under when we can give this approval, but what board has the authority to
We
approve it?
need our legal opinion.
Absolutely, yes, we
And
absolutely need
it's
to.
past time. When did we put in the request?
Well, okay, give me 1 second. Well, I lose my train of thought, I'm getting
No,
old.
but I-
See, I did that when
I
you said
know.
flow
I asked
request.
the
I'm like,
question.
I was like, wait a minute.
We put in
Sorry.
a request.
We put in a
Okay,
request
all
months
All right,
ago,
all
right?
right, I'll answer that question.
And,
Okay.
Can I answer
Yeah.
that question? Okay. Nothing's easy. So that request went in the end of last October. In December, I inquired through town administration that I hadn't heard from them.
yeah,
And Natasha apologized immensely. It was a new system, Natasha's
Transition,
great,
yeah.
and she had missed it. So she sent it in then, and they told them allegedly to, make it push it to the front. And of course, I haven't heard from them since then. I ran into Natasha the other day, and she was gonna jump right on them, but of course, I'm leaving for vacation. At any rate, we haven't heard yet hopefully we'll heard. But that was specific really to chapter 83. It did say and other
That-
issues.
And
That's
other
right,
issues,
that's
there's a
right.
lot of
Yeah.
other issues.
Does that go back to DEP for that answer?
Yeah,
We don't know.
can I make
Yeah.
a comment?
Yeah,
We absolutely do not have that authority, and I will tell you why.
yeah,
I don't think we do either.
Because this is a townwide development issue, and part of it is the state. The state needs to come in with an answer, because otherwise, every single household and every single developer is going to put in a request
Right.
immediately.
they already are. Through the health department, I watched the
Okay.
agendas. And the other thing I want, that I was trying to get out, was that,
And it's an equity issue,
right,
equality.
um,
You know, like, I can't afford to do it right now, but I'd love to be able to do it in,
It affects
10
the
years,
property,
right?
yeah. Sale of it, all.
right,
Yeah.
so what I wanted to say was, when this issue came up a year ago, which came up because I saw it on the Board of Health agendas, I read a lot of agendas, and we learn a lot that way. I started looking at what Chatham was doing and some other people about this stuff. I mean, this is way beyond, my level. And what they do there, I mean, it shocks me, and allegedly in Falmouth too, and I'm not sure about Bourne, but their sewer commissioners literally sit there and talk about square feet and bedrooms. And my personal, we had a meeting on this last summer, and we talked to the board about this board about this. My feeling is that the water department's responsibility ends at the meter. That's just my personal opinion. I don't ever see myself getting into a discussion of gallons or bedrooms,
It will.
But at any rate, it's a CWMP issue, and the select board is in charge of the CWMP. So they're the ones who
well,
are
it's more than that,
coordinating it.
because
Yeah.
the town, the
Yeah.
citizens of the town that voted at town meeting like 8 years ago to support the first phase of the sewer voted that there would be no development
That's right,
on phase 1.
absolutely.
And so this is why we need legal.
Yeah.
And we need the state to come in and not push this on, and this is, it's,
All we
and
can do is
the
cover.
difference with Chatham is they have their own
I'm
plans,
just giving you
know?
information,
And
yeah.
Falmouth has their own plan, I think, or did they go to Mashpee?
Yeah.
But the town has their own plan, but
But-
approved
Approved,
by.
But this is
Yeah.
about water flow.
Right.
They don't do anything without their stamp.
exactly.
At any rate, believe me, this is beyond my level. I just wanted to give you some warning,
Yeah.
all right, because if you get a notice from the Board of Selectmen who'd be organizing the meeting saying
Select
there's
board.
gonna be a joint, there's gonna be a joint meeting, I wanted you to have some clue what it was about, so that's all.
Well, could you send an email to
Natasha,
Natasha and say,
what's
please
up?
get us a result by the end of the day? Because we've been waiting since,
October.
yeah, or by the end of the week,
You
or
mean
something polite but
All right,
firm.
please, so are you saying, what do you mean by a result by the end of the day?
Can you give us an update by the end of the day?
On legal counsel.
I just told her to wait till I got back from vacation.
Can you
Oh.
send her an email to ask, to say, can you get us a response by the date?
I'm-
Or you
I'm-
told her the date you'd be back?
I told her, I
Oh,
told her as
okay.
soon as I get back from vacation, I'll write to her, and she'll write to her immediately then. I didn't want legal to call and me have to say, see you later, I'm heading on vacation.
But couldn't you just email and say after the 24th of January?
I mean,
or
sure, I
February?
was been real busy, I'll do that if you want, I mean, I just
Well,
told her,
yeah, it
I-
gives her time to
Wait a
arrange
minute,
it, Noreen.
Hold on, what's the rush?
yeah.
Because
We're not
these
doing
things are coming up on us, and we find ourselves on the back foot a little bit.
Fine, I'll
between
write to her.
the select board, and we send a good faith letter to them asking something that is due us.
Okay,
And we get no
all right,
response, and then
all
they
right.
forget about it.
Do you want to know something?
I know.
I've been talking about sewer in this town for 25 years. There hasn't been a rush.
All
And
right.
I don't see it as rushing now.
Well, right now.
This isn't
there's-
about rush, this is
Yeah.
about a flow question that we have to plan for. And
Gotcha.
as long as we're going through all of these things and setting rates and planning for stuff to increase flows that people think is by right now, we need some knowledge. And
We're gonna have it, believe me.
by
Well,
this term, or when you're off the board, or, you know, these people take
No,
vacations,
no,
she
no,
forgets.
you forget.
Natasha forgets, she does, right? She forgot our request. So that request is
Yeah,
in some
I'll do it.
paper,
Yes.
so I don't think it's unreasonable to say, please ask legal counsel that we pay to get to us between the 24th of January and the 24th of February.
Gotcha.
and we're talking
That
about
works.
the regular
That's all I
town
asked,
council or
okay?
a separate
That works.
town, or a
Perfect.
separate
Aye, aye.
council
Huh?
for- Are we talking about a town council, or are we talking about a separate legal
Whatever
council
we're
for
entitled
the
to.
board? We're entitled to both. We're
Well-
entitled to access town council, but under certain conditions, we are entitled to take on our own attorney outside of.
Well, let's get a good one, but I thought we had to work with town council.
No comment.
Can I throw out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan's
So-
been in there for a lot of these meetings, and
I talked to DEP about this, and I would just caution the expectation for legal,
I know.
because we're asking them to litmus test something that hasn't really been teased out. Now, when I had talked to DEP about some of the recent development projects, and he said, well, you know, the flow, they used, you know, say 2,000 gallons per day, and now they're talking about using 6,000 gallons per day, and like, that's a flow increase. But what they kind of suggested in the phone call was that, yes, their flow increased, but if they're on sewer, the nitrogen load didn't increase. And although we're held to a flow neutral bylaw for a particular place, they're only using flow as a metric that everybody can kind of wrap their heads around. And it really matters if we're increasing nitrogen to the harbor embankment. So I'll pick on Sunday school, just because I know the plans completely changed from when I had had this conversation with them. But in that instance, if the proposed renovation to that property and the nitro or nitrax system that they were gonna put in yielded less nitrogen than Sunday school was generating previously, but with increased flow, when that's all gets teased out with DEP, they're not gonna ding us for an increase in flow, because in reality, our nitrogen didn't actually go up. So.
Why don't they say that?
I would,
And they have to.
because they gotta try, then they have to explain it, and trying to
Yeah.
explain nitrogen
Yeah,
and
that's a
attenuation, I
challenge.
think, is part of the
But
big.
they don't even say the nitrogen part.
Right, and, you know, I guess one of my questions to legal, through you if you so choose, is, you know, the sewer use regulations hold property owners to Title V regulations that were in place in 2016.
Right.
All while, once the sewer pipe goes in the ground, the applicability of Title V is no longer there, because you have a sewer system. So, does the town have the authority, legal right to hold a property owner to a standard that we can't apply to a property?
Can you put that in writing for me?
And
I'd like to have that.
I was thinking of flow to Chatham
No.
quite
No.
frankly,
No.
as a
The houses.
challenge.
No, this is
No.
every property.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean,
Every single property.
I
well,
would.
no, but I mean,
If you have an
first off, I was
ADU,
thinking, because we have that agreement in place with Chatham,
that's-
and technically, we're not supposed to go over, so does that agreement get renegotiated?
So it's relevant, and it's, I guess, another thing that you need to balance. We have, and
yeah.
what I would say is that
it's
flow,
one part.
This one,
yeah, on the aggregate, I don't think you're gonna see 300,000 gallons in East Harwich.
Right, now
You know, actual flows are far less than
Yeah.
what
what was,
we had, estimated. So I don't foresee it being a flow issue And I guess you could extrapolate that to the flow neutral bylaw. I mean, I guess it's a big wager to put on, you know, at this juncture, but I
But shouldn't the select board ask one of our legislators about that? It seems to be
They should run
something
everything with
that they
this.
should be, or we could, call up Julian Sear and say, hey,
You know,
can you get clarification for us?
there's
That's
a-
Yeah,
what don't those people do? That's what they do.
yeah.
Next time I'm at one of their fundraisers, well, I'm gonna say that. Hey, by the way.
Can I throw out two things? I'm sorry, you go ahead, Alan. All right. When this came up, when I saw it on agendas last year and saw people starting to refer people to us, like we have a resident who's written to Jason and was referred to him by the Board of Health. And at this point, we simply have to tell the resident, this is a decision, a process needs to be done by the select board. We're so sorry, we don't usually do this, but at this point, there's really nothing we can do about it. This project really needs, I feel, really needs to be coordinated by the select board. It very much involves the Board of Health and us, but the select board's the lead. So that's why I'm, it at least was on their tracker list, and, they've acknowledged it's on their list, so that's something. The only thing I want to throw in about our legal in relation to this case is, because I do watch the agendas and the other stuff going on, is I didn't like our legal's positions that they took on sewer easements, on, I forget, there was another issue, a couple of things I feel legal is leaning towards
Their own
not
position.
keeping us as separate as we should be, you know?
We being the department?
Us and the town CWMP people. They seem to be merging us. This is my feeling, all right? Like, they don't seem to me to be as clear in their legal explanations about how we can give easements to properties that are in the construction area yet, and things like that. I'm not real comfortable with our legal right now in relation to sewer versus CWMP. That's just my opinion, that's all I'm saying. I think they tend to side with the town lately. And by siding with the town, I would tend to say, they'll say, tell water they have to do it.
Well, there
My
has to be a
opinion.
mechanism for them to tell us.
Well, I know, I'm just letting you know that, my opinion. And I watch a lot of meetings and read a lot of agendas.
Okay.
And we do have that option of getting independent counsel.
I don't know about that.
I think as it moves along, I think you'll see a need to have professionals come in
Right, that might
and
Make those
address
decisions.
those
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah, that makes sense.
right. No matter what happens, a process has to be agreed by the three
Absolutely.
parties. That's,
And that's where we're at.
yeah, and that's all we were trying to let you know, Judith, in case you get an email.
I have to get going.
No,
We
no,
close
See
to-
the dollars
I'm so
flying
sorry,
around.
please stay just a few minutes, real quick. Okay, Bob has to leave, so we're gonna start going fast
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, and maybe we can start the signature thing around?
Yeah.
All right, so we've been getting tons of requests for letters of support. The number B and C that are listed on the agenda, those were ones that were made during presentations here. Number A came into our mail. I'll just say that I don't feel inclined to give input on 456 at this point as a board. I put it in the packet so that you guys could see it. So let's see, where the heck is that? Now I've lost myself. So the first one came from building department asking boards and department heads for input on Penrose, the 456 project. Now, that doesn't mean we have to give input. My inclination is not to.
It said it, I agree, but also
Yeah.
it's past the dates.
Well, I know, but not everything comes in when we have a meeting, you know.
So I could have, and I missed that deadline.
Yeah.
I could have said, we can supply the water, but I'm waiting for a utility plan from them to see what they want to do and then give recommendations on how I want the water main run and different things like
I would
that.
say, I'm not in favor of this.
I'm not
anyways.
either. I just
Right.
wanted you to see what was out there.
Okay.
You, Alan and Judith, how do you feel? Do we give our input on Penrose?
No, I think that's,
I agree, yeah.
just the technical stuff, but
Yeah.
you
Right.
need information. for
I
that.
need a utility plan.
And if we were gonna weigh in on this, I would want us to agenda it separately and have a whole discussion, and I don't feel that we're that involved. We don't do it for other projects, you know, so unless something comes up.
I'm with you.
All right, I just wanted you to see
Yeah.
what was out there. Okay, so the next one, I did get one done. So this would be, the one that's marked draft, would be my letter that I wrote, that would be from the board, giving our support to the local comprehensive plan. Remember, we had people out a year ago, and they asked us at that time, so if you're happy with this letter, I will send it along to the appropriate people,
I'm good.
and I will sign it. Anybody, this one was Noreen and Chat GPT, so, not the other one, that was all me. So, people are okay with that? The next one, we were asked by Real Estate and Open Space for a letter of support, the Harwich Conservation Trust, that's on that project where we're gonna get the land,
Oh,
remember
yeah.
those parcels? And I will do a draft and have it for next meeting. I do
Okay.
my best to keep up with these, but didn't quite get to that one. And the last thing is just for people to see, Jason submitted the town report. These deadlines just keep winging up, you know, so fast.
I didn't sign any of
You know, it's starting to
So,
pass around.
Also Norman, you had contacted me, I went over through this, but on the last page here where it says Board of Water Wastewater Commissioners with the chair, vice chair, clerk, that's all been corrected.
I know they had you as clerk, Bob, and I know you don't like
don't
that. So I.
So that has been corrected.
I rushed and we got that changed by, I took proactive action.
Before you went on vacation, too.
So that was a long meeting, folks, but it's going to be kind of a crazy spring. I think we got a lot done. Thank you
Yeah.
for everybody's input and stuff like that. Now the question will be, when's our next meeting? If I get a draft done for real estate and open space, I might send it out to you guys from me. Just, I don't know. I'll wait till next meeting. There's just so much lately. It's just. Just seems endless.
Okay, this has my signature on it, Noreen, I don't know.
Oh, all those minutes, I forgot.
There's more.
Sorry. This pen.
There's some more.
Yeah, I'm getting there, honey.
That's it?
it. No more.
So I'm going to take.
Yeah,
off.
take
Do you
one.
want this?
Apple Hill Refuse Management Facility, whatever it's called.
What do you got going on?
Well, at least we have all the contracts in place finally for Route 28. That was a long, painful process, not yours, Dan, the
All but the
other,
important one.
the other
I was
side.
gonna say, how long is
Right.
the contract good for? I mean,
I don't know.
like, what if it takes 6 months, we need to redo?
It's for the project.
Well, just thinking
Duration of the
positive,
project.
thinking
Duration.
positive.
No, it's for the project,
Yeah,
so.
duration.
Okay.
You want this paper?
Yeah, I'd love the
Yeah,
paper.
here's a bunch. I
You
got
all
more
know
for
that
you.
I am printing on the back side. Maybe Dan, you might want to take some out for
Saving
your
some
kids.
trees.
Yeah,
Apple trees.
yeah.
So the only thing to discuss quick, you guys can start discussing, is when's our next meeting? Sandy's away next week, which makes, getting some of our financial stuff, we gotta juggle a little bit, but we'll have it all ready by the end of February for final review and vote. We already voted on the capital plan.
When do you go on vacation?
I'm gone from the 1st to the 14th.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how about late February?
Well, I don't think we can wait that long. We could meet on either the 17th, back then, or the 24th would be our next ones.
Okay.
17th, I can't do, and that's,
Well, maybe we'll make it the 24th. I'm like just back then, it might, sometimes it's good to get your bearings. And I'll tell you the truth, Sandy's been really rushed lately with the changing deadlines uptown, so it'd be nice if there was a week for Sandy, Jason, and I to, make sure the reports are ready for you guys to look at properly.
so then how about like the first week of March?
No, I was thinking the 24th.
Oh, does that give that week?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Otherwise, they're doing, yeah, because I think if we wait, what do you think, Jason? I think if we wait till March, because we might be, need an info, we're gonna have to move quick once we move, so.
I would hope by the 24th we'd have some information, but I think the 24th would work
24th's a
out.
good one to plan on. How about you, Alan, the
Yeah, I'm
24th?
on.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
And Dan is gonna be calling in once in a while. He won't always be here. How's your
See?
schedule?
What time?
Wide open on the 24th.
The 24th, 9 o'clock.
And just, I may be calling in if I'm up.
That's
with my
fine.
mom.
The phone's great, so
That's important.
It is.
that's right.
She's gonna be 90 in April.
Wow.
That's more important.
It is. Yeah, we all take turns staying with her, so.
No, that's,
Great.
I think that's
Good
wonderful.
thing she had a bunch of kids,
God,
How many?
That's wonderful.
6 of us.
oh
Yeah.
boy.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next meeting,
Comes out, was it?
24th, 9 o'clock. Motion to adjourn.